I make movies about spiders playing jazz on their webs or cockroaches building a rocket to fly to the moon. Okay, just picture that imagery for a second. That wonderfully weird, highly visual idea comes from filmmaker Mick Mahler, and it perfectly sets the stage for what we're getting into today. I mean, it completely captures the sheer wonder, the bizarre potential, and the absolutely limitless possibilities that artificial intelligence has just dropped right into our laps.
So, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're tackling a massive shift that's happening across literally every creative field and boardroom right now. Our focus today is simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Why vision beats AI tools. We're going to explore exactly how to navigate this rapidly evolving, and let's be honest, sometimes chaotic AI landscape by looking at insights from both cutting-edge creators and top enterprise leaders. Let's dive right in.
Section 1. The Ocean of AI Slop. As AI gets insanely powerful, making almost anything you can imagine technically possible, it brings with it a terrifying new challenge. We are up against what people are calling AI slop. It's basically this endless ocean of meaningless, low-effort AI-generated content, deepfakes, and misinformation, all created primarily just to cut costs. With the barriers to entry completely gone, anyone can prompt a video, a text, or an image in seconds. But the really crucial question we have to ask ourselves here is, are we just going to drown in the sea of meaningless content? To really understand how we got here, we have to look back, and I mean, even just a year or two ago. Mick Mahler shared this hilarious anecdote about his early AI video experiments. He actually tried making nature documentaries using one of the earliest AI video models, but the technology was so new and so raw, it couldn't even remember what happened half a second ago. Mahler joked that the footage looked like planet Earth on acid. He even tried to make a sequel to the Pixar movie Ratatouille using cutting-edge tools for the 3D models and animation, and it just resulted in this creepy, hallucinated nightmare fuel. It broke incredibly fast under pressure. Which just brilliantly illustrates how rapid this evolution has been. Early AI was creepy, forgetful, and broke if you looked at it funny, but modern AI, it can make almost anything imaginable. The technical constraints are just completely fading away. But, that leads us directly to a core danger. When everything is possible, what actually matters? When you can generate a Hollywood blockbuster look with a simple text prompt, the technology itself stops being the differentiator. Section 2. The bumpy enterprise ride. Now, this isn't just a problem for artists and creators, it's a massive corporate challenge too. Jonathan Williams, he's the head of France at Legora, which is a legal AI company that partners really closely with OpenAI. He sees this firsthand. For agile tech companies like his, this rapid pace is thrilling. He said every time a new model drops, the team is really excited. It's like Christmas every single time. They've used absolutely every model from OpenAI across their platform. For them, the unknown future of the next 6 months isn't scary at all. It's incredibly exciting because they can just pivot instantly to adopt it. But then, Williams points out a pretty stark contrast. 200,000. That is the number of employees at some of their legacy enterprise clients. Up to 200,000 people. I mean, just imagine the sheer inertia of trying to steer a ship of that size. So the reality in the AI era is entirely split right now. Agile startups are experiencing fast adaptation and total excitement. But for legacy enterprises, it is all about inertia, tricky resource allocation, and what Williams bluntly calls a very bumpy ride. The technology is moving vastly faster than a massive corporation's ability to retool, retrain, and change its internal processes. They are dealing with constraints that agile startups simply do not have to worry about. Section 3. Why authenticity stands out. So, how do creators and enterprises actually survive this? Well, look at the hype cycle of AI novelty. Mahler pointed out that recent Studio Ghibli trend. You remember where everyone used AI to turn themselves into anime characters? Days 1 through 7, the trend emerges and it's totally magical. Days 8 through 14, it is absolutely everywhere online, just clogging up your feed. And by day 15, the novelty wears off completely and the trend vanishes without a trace. Relying solely on the novelty of an AI tool is a losing game for sure, because novelty creates hype, but it gets boring incredibly fast. So what actually captures attention when that novelty inevitably wears off? It's ideas rooted in reality. It's simple concepts with a funny twist and compelling stories. Mahler highlighted this amazing example from a group of filmmakers in Berlin. When a new audio-to-animation AI dropped, they didn't just make generic sci-fi explosions like everyone else. Instead, they literally went out into the streets, recorded real audio interviews with pedestrians talking about their meat consumption, and then used AI to animate those real voices onto hilarious alien characters. It stood out because it was rooted in a real, fundamentally human concept. Mahler actually experienced this realization firsthand. He was feeling totally burnt out from just staring at a computer, testing endless AI models. He said he felt like Gregor Samsa from Kafka's The Metamorphosis, the guy who turns into a giant beetle. So, instead of just typing in a prompt for a video of a bug, Mahler actually went outside. He photographed real beetles in nature. He trained an AI model on his own original photos. And then he wrote a story where Gregor doesn't die miserably, but realizes there is more to life than work. He shot the movie in the woods on an iPhone and just used AI to swap himself into the beetle character. He embraced nature and actual human effort to find his unique voice. Section 4. Vision first, tools second. Which brings us to the ultimate workflow for the future. And this applies whether you're an artist shooting on an iPhone or a CEO managing 200,000 employees. You are going to be remembered for your vision, never your tools. The tool-first approach has you chasing novelty and letting AI make your creative decisions for you. It's a guaranteed recipe for just blending right into the AI slop. But the vision-first approach, that is story-driven. It's effort-based and rooted in human reality, and you retain absolute control. So the crucial point here is, do not let AI make your decisions. For creators, this translates to a very specific workflow. Take Mahler's newest film about a man whose physical size changes based on his confidence. His team didn't start with the AI. Step 1, they wrote the story. Step 2, they went out and physically shot it. Step 3, only then did they figure out the custom open-source AI workflow they needed to actually pull off the visual effects. The story and the human element came first. The nerdy laptop work came last. And this isn't just for indie filmmakers. This ties directly into Jonathan Williams' advice for legacy enterprises. It is the exact same philosophy. Step 1 for a massive corporation, think very carefully and define exactly what you want your strategic future to look like. Step 2, figure out the specific AI tools you need to bridge that gap. Whether you're making an indie short film or transforming a global legal firm, envisioning the outcome absolutely must precede picking up the tool. I absolutely love this quote to tie it all together. Make it weird. Make it unique so that no AI could generate it on its own. Use AI merely as a tool to reach your unique vision, but never, ever let it replace the vision itself. Bring your humanity, your weirdness, your specific life experiences to the table. Because honestly, that is your moat. Because as the technical constraints just completely vanish and literally everything becomes possible to create with a few keystrokes, the only thing that will truly matter is what you choose to create. The technology is amazing, sure, but at the end of the day, it's just a paintbrush. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you staring at this final provocative thought. With infinite tools right at your disposal, what stories are you going to tell now? Take control of your creative and strategic future, and I'll see you in the next one.